If you own or are thinking of buying an Alienware AW3225QF 240Hz OLED monitor, I have great news because Alienware recently released an update which should fix the sRGB and HDMI issues, plus more fixes are on the way. I'll talk about them in just a bit, but first of all, I want to address why this update is such a big deal. Now, when I first reviewed this monitor, despite me listing quite a few issues I had with it, I did ultimately recommend it due to the excellent clarity, speed, motion performance, and of course, great HDR on PC. However, this was a mistake. I shouldn't have done so, and I'm sorry to the buyers who were frustrated with the many issues it had on launch because despite how good the monitor could be, frankly, it just had way too many issues, and after spending more time with it, I realized just how much of a headache it could be, and I had to release a follow-up video urging people not to purchase the display. Now, in that video, I discussed that my biggest gripe was that its sRGB mode was way out of whack, making it basically unusable for me without an ICC profile. Now, as usual, I locked this profile behind my Patreon, which is what I do for all my monitor guides, ICC profiles, and the Discord, but many people who had never seen my videos before alleged that this was some sort of nefarious ploy to direct people to my Patreon by unfairly judging the monitor and making it seem worse than it really was. And let me also address this quickly before we get into the update itself. As I mentioned, I always provide what I believe are the best settings for monitors I review in my Patreon, but realistically, I would much prefer if a monitor did not require severe gamma correction and was just solid out of the box, which hopefully now after the latest firmware update should be the case for the AW3225QF, meaning there's absolutely no reason to use the ICC profile I created anymore, which is a much better experience for buyers. I want to make it clear that my Patreon was not created to somehow trick people out of $1 every month, but instead should be viewed as a way to help fund my future reviews, as well as get access to a community of display enthusiasts and the ability to reach out to me when I'm available to help answer questions you may have. Also, it's entirely optional, and while I do highly appreciate everyone who supports me on Patreon, if you don't want to do that, that's totally okay. I'm perfectly happy with you just watching the video for free, and there are people like Artings who will provide an ICC profile for free, but please be aware that installing ICC profiles for anything other than severe gamma correction may not lead to a perfect correction, as the color performance can vary slightly from one display to another. But with that out of the way, I do want to let everyone here know that this update should make the AW3225QF far more usable, and I recently had a long talk with Dell, which I believe not only did my initial criticisms likely have an impact on why you're seeing a firmware update available right now at all, since I believe I was the only one who actually did CalMan testing at the time finding these issues, but also in talks with them, I expressed why not using a plastic peel is a bad idea, leading to shipping damage, and pointed out many remaining issues still, including Dolby Vision being locked on, which I suggested they release a firmware update for, which will allow users to disable it in the OSD until Windows fixes it on their end. The great news is they listened and will be releasing a firmware update to do just that in early to mid-March, and I will be retesting the monitor soon to update you on the accuracy of its current firmware, as well as the next one, which should hopefully finally resolve all the major issues with this display. I just wanted to make this video to update everyone on this monitor and to express that I only make these videos with the sole purpose of improving the monitor industry as a whole. This is the reason I got into reviewing monitors, and hopefully these firmware updates are proof of that, as I have done everything in my power to push for you guys to get the best experience possible, because it's the right thing to do. And although I did get a lot of hate for making a video not recommending the display since it was so hyped up, I also have gotten a lot of support, and I highly appreciate that, and I do look forward to testing those updates, which should, fingers crossed, finally allow me to recommend the AW3225QF wholeheartedly. I honestly don't like making reviews where I poorly review a product, as usually everybody's just mad. I'm mad, the company's mad, and the buyers are also mad because they want it to be good. They've spent a lot of good money on it, but quite frankly, guys, I'm just not willing to lie to you to make some people feel good about their purchase when I know the amount of damage that can cause to the monitor industry, which was in a really bad state up until about a year or two ago when we finally started getting good monitors. So I do not want to undo any of that by just playing a game and not telling you the real truth. If there's one thing I could ask though, I would also very much appreciate if everyone watching this could share this video to bring awareness to these updates, and especially share it with those who perhaps have a poor opinion of my video where I did not recommend the AW3225QF on places like Reddit, Twitter, or other social media, so hopefully they can understand why I made that video and why I make any reviews, which of course is to make sure you don't waste your money and get the best product possible. Although I do understand that maybe the titling of those original videos was a little bit out of line with where they should be, and that's why I did correct them. One last thing I want to say is I have made and will make mistakes in the future, as that is an unfortunate reality of being human, but I will always own up to them and try and correct them in the future so I can continue to make better reviews. Thanks again everyone for watching, and I'll see you in my next OLED review, which should be going live very soon, and also my update on the AW3225QF, which hopefully very soon I'll be able to recommend. Whether you're looking to connect a new console, gaming PC, or just need a fast and reliable HDMI cable to connect over long distances, Rupro has you covered with their certified 8K HDMI 2.1 fiber optic cable, available in sizes of up to 50 feet and can deliver a perfect full 48 gigabits per second connection over distances other cables could only dream of reaching. And with 48 gigabits per second of bandwidth, it can easily drive 8K 60 FPS or 4K 144 FPS 10-bit HDR video through its ultra-thin, flexible, and durable housing, and it even supports ER. So if you're in the market for a cable that can drive a beautiful new TV or monitor, be sure to check out Rupro on Amazon today.